What is going on, everyone who likes to travel? I know I do. I went on 17 trips this year for more than 3 days each time. Sometimes by car, a few times by train, and most often, like most people, by plane. There's almost 90,000 flights on an average day in the US. At air traffic's daily peak, there's over 5,000 planes in the air over the US. That's a lot of planes that can be landing or taking off from almost 20,000 private and public airports in the US. Just under 3 million people take off and land in the United States each year. A majority of those 3 million people hate the whole experience. Buying tickets, going to the airport, getting through the airport, getting on the plane, getting off the plane, getting a drink at your destination, finding out that your bags are in Atlanta and you're in New York. It's never a good time. Half the time, the average person promises they will never fly again. 90% of them break that promise a couple months later for one reason or another. Hands down, the worst part of the whole experience is the airport. Most of the time, they're big and they're confusing. They're like little cities. Some of the major airports you would think were designed by a person that is clinically insane. They're the worst. And that's what today's list is all about. The bad ones. So sit back, put on your neck pillow, and watch my top 10 worst airports in the US. Number 10. MCI Kansas City. Kansas City International Airport is about 15 miles from downtown and is one of the worst airports in the country. The whole layout is very odd and all of the good places to eat or get some coffee are on the wrong side of the security, which doesn't really help anyone. You see all the checked-in passengers buying lunch at a gift shop, and that's not right. I've been to MCI 3 or 4 times. Lost my bags twice when I left MCI. They ended up someplace else. Didn't get on the flight with me. Never understand that. On top of that, I remember the road going into the airport being in bad shape. Like they were doing construction, but there was no construction going on. Yeah, that one kind of sucked. And on top of it, they're getting ready to do this big expansion for it because it was built in like 1971, and all the airlines are protesting at the price of the remodel. It's weird. It's not a fun airport to go to. Number 9. MSY New Orleans. Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport serves about 12 million passengers annually. The main complaint from the passengers are that the restrooms and overall cleanliness of the place sucks. Either the custodial staff doesn't care to do their jobs properly or they're understaffed, whatever. What kills me about this one is that it's the biggest complaint, it's been the biggest complaint for years, and it's a relatively easy fix. Retrain, hire more, or fire all the employees and start from scratch. If they have a contract with an outside company, they're not living up to their contract unless in their contract someplace that says leave the place relatively filthy. Now, I've been through this airport a few times, most recently in 2016, and I remember the whole place kind of looking run down, not just the restrooms. And it's too bad that this place is named after such a talented man, and it just sucks. Number 8. BOS. Boston. Logan International Airport is located in East Boston and has about 40 million passengers annually. Parking is absolutely horrible. It's actually a joke. If at all possible, it is recommended that you take an Uber or a Lyft to the airport. Don't park there. Spots on the first couple levels are always full, as to be expected. However, the parking garages don't have elevators. So when you're parked a couple floors up, you're lugging all your stuff downstairs. I still have a hard time believing that one. The first time I went, I thought that it was just we weren't around the elevators where we parked, so we just went down a couple flights of stairs. The second time I asked the friend who drove me, both times actually, where the elevators were, and he said they won't give us elevators because we're Irish. I still don't know what he meant by that. I mean, he is a comedian, so he could have been joking. I don't know. But anyway, if you don't know this airport, entering out of the tunnel is a bit confusing also. It's been about 8 years since I've been through Logan, and I've heard it's gotten better, but it still kind of sucks, according to the locals. Number 7. ORD Chicago. The Chicago O'Hare International Airport was opened in 1944 and today sees about 80 million customers annually. The main complaint is about the TSA agents. Many complain they racially profile passengers and are just plain rude, which never makes for a fun experience or a good reputation. I was there in October. The problem with this one is it's just too damn big. They are constantly doing remodeling and it can get confusing for people that aren't familiar with O'Hare, especially when you're trying to leave, if you're trying to grab a bus, a taxi, or a train. That whole thing gets confusing. Everyone stares at these machines they have that sell tickets with total confusion. Nobody gets them. It was really weird. I watched this for about 20 minutes. I actually stepped back and kind of watched how people connected with these because I'm computer literate. I know how to work a machine. I was having a really hard time. I didn't understand it at all. Whoever made these machines, they need to be fired. Number 6. PHL, Philadelphia. Philadelphia International Airport sees about 30 million visitors annually. So here's the deal. You have a job, you work in a climate-controlled workspace, it's a fast-paced job, which of course makes the day go by faster, your pay is decent, you'd expect a TSA agent to be a little bit pleasant and professional. Not in Philadelphia. Many passengers complain that the agents are often very rude and unprofessional. I was in Philadelphia in June, and they're right, they are rude and they are very unprofessional. The last time I flew into this airport prior to June was about 20 years ago, and I remember nothing about it. After my experience in June, I think I may have been blocking some things out. The whole place feels outdated. It's confusing, and all the restaurants and stores and all that stuff, way overcrowded. This, in my opinion, is the worst airport that I've been to in the US. Number 5. EWR, Newark, New Jersey. Do yourself a favor and never have a delay in Newark Liberty Airport for any longer than maybe an hour. The lines here are horrifically long for everything. Check-in, bathroom, security, coffee, anything you want, you're going to be waiting in line. You should also expect to have to stand the entire time because they don't have any seats, it seems like. No available power outlets, no free Wi-Fi. It's like a 1970s airport when it comes to technology. This place is devoid of all innovation and customer service. The best thing to do with this airport is to mow it down, grow a forest, then set the forest on fire so that way when people look at this place, all they'll remember is the forest fire, not the airport. It's a typical place in New Jersey, though. Number 4. FLL, Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport in Florida is one of the absolute worst in the country. If at all possible, I recommend that you use the Miami International Airport. It's 10,000 times better, and it's only about a 30 to 45 minute ride away. Passengers complain about the food options, the employees, and how unorganized this entire airport is. This is the type of place that will drive you to drink on a holiday weekend. Go on the day before Thanksgiving, and you'll probably need a therapist and some lithium just to get on your plane. I flew in here once about 7 years ago, and that was it for me. Number 3. LGA, New York. LaGuardia Airport is one of the 3 main airports in New York and sees about 28 million passengers a year. This is the airport you go to when you need to get a plane that same day, and all the other flights at all the other airports are completely booked. Visitors often complain that it's very dirty. The food options are horrible, and there's often leaks in the roof and holes in the carpet. It's so bad that our past Vice President Joe Biden referred to it as a third world country back in 2014. Watch any sitcom or TV drama about New York, and you will eventually see jokes or comments about how bad LaGuardia is. I've never been to this airport, so I asked a New York friend if it's as bad as its reputation. He said no, it's much worse. He said that every time he goes to LaGuardia, he feels like he went to a business that's closing down, like they filed for bankruptcy and it only has a few days left till they close forever. And stop typing. I can comment if I haven't been there. It's called reading and researching. As a matter of fact, I did just comment without being there. I get that all the time. How, if you've never lived there, how come you say that? How come you can't say anything if you've never lived there? Oh, really? If you've never experienced anything, you can't say anything about it. Is that what the mentality is here? How are we getting books about the Revolution or the Civil War or historical things like that? Those writers and movie makers never were in the Civil War or the Revolutionary War. How's it happening? It's called research. Stop typing. Number 2. LAX, Los Angeles. The Los Angeles International Airport sees roughly 85 million travelers a year, and that's their problem. If you break that down, that's about 230,000 people going through that airport every single day. It's a lot of people for one airport. LAX is way too crowded. Never expect your experience here to be a quick experience. Even if you're just picking up a friend, LAX has a thing where it almost seems like it's an all-day affair every single time. I grew up in LA and flew in and out of LAX too many times to count, and it sucks. I know the place really well, and it still sucks. You think I could get in and out? No, it's almost impossible. The thing I do like about LAX is the horseshoe design. It works. I'm sorry. It works if you don't have 250,000 people going through it every single day. If this place was designed like some of the other airports in this country, it would be shut down because of safety issues. This place has got a great design, but like I said, just too many people. Too many people. If at all possible, go to Long Beach Airport. And number 1, JFK, New York. John F. Kennedy International Airport was opened in 1943 and now sees 57 million passengers annually. JFK was built with the idea that every airline needed their own terminal. The problem is, that worked in the 1940s, that doesn't work here or now. Today, JFK has terminals 1 through 8, 2 of which have been demolished in the past 5 years. Because of the poor design of this airport, it could take passengers up to an hour, maybe even an hour and a half to travel between terminals. And stop typing. We are talking about the average person visiting JFK, not some dude that works there and knows how to get between the terminals in 30 minutes. Stop. So obviously the biggest problem with JFK is the design, and it would seem to be too expensive of an undertaking to fix it. They should probably make one of those artificial islands and make a new JFK entirely and close the old one down. I'm all for keeping old buildings. They have history. They tell our story. When it comes to an airport that's design is causing such major issues, it needs to be dealt with. I like New York. I despise this airport. Alright, so that's my top 10 worst airports in the United States. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate it. Don't forget all the links below. Hit the like button. Tell me what you thought. Hit the subscribe button if you already haven't. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.